What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 324 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room, where we get together every Tuesday night at 8:30 to talk about life, to talk about music. We've been doing it since March 14th of 2020, when we rode out the pandemic together every night for 80 nights in a row. And then in June of 2020, when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, we made Cocktails in the War Room a weekly show. Tuesday nights seemed to be the best idea. That way we could talk about the new podcast episode that's coming out tomorrow. And in case you are new to the show and you're not quite sure how this works, usually the first 10 seconds is professional and then it goes downhill because of my co-hosts. And happy National Dog Day. Come here, Wednesday. Come over here, Friday. Say hi to everyone. This is Friday. Wednesday is over at the end of the couch right now with the toy that she was just fighting with Friday about. You can find them on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug, but they are the pugs. And I've been asking everybody on Facebook to share pictures of their dogs today for National Dog Day. Keep the pictures coming because they're freaking adorable. So you're saying hi to everyone. Look at how pretty you are. Oh, look at how pretty you are. Nobody wants to see it, Mommy. Everybody wants to see the baby dogs. I got to say what's up to, let's see, Eric Clark on Instagram, Marcy and Jessica on Facebook, Michelle and Donna, also Carol and Jason on Facebook as well. Come here, Friday. Come over here so everybody can see you, and then I can say hi to everybody for real, too. Bish, what's up? Thanks to everybody for the birthday wishes last week. I hope you had the best big 4-0 ever, Bish. Did you get big giant cake? What did you get for your birthday? 40 is a big birthday. A lot of people have a hard time with 40. I had a harder time with 30 than I did with 40. It kind of hits everybody different, but 40, I feel like you've kind of come to terms with the fact that like you're not young anymore, but you're still young enough to kind of do whatever you want. You start getting into like 60, 70 and your body starts telling you what you can and can't do. And I feel like 40 is that age where hopefully you've had enough success in your life where if you wanted to do something that you've wanted to do, you just do it. Hopefully by then you've got the family that you want. You've got the love life that you want. And it's still an age where, fingers crossed, hopefully you've still got your parents as well. And as you get a little bit older, sometimes that's not always the case, although it's not guaranteed that your parents will make it to see your 40th birthday. But that's the hope, is that 40 is kind of this sweet spot when everything is kind of possible. But Betty says, missed you last week, Keith. Happy unbirthday. What's up, Keith? Ryan says, my 50th is tomorrow. So I say this all the time when it comes to old age. And at first, I think it was just me trying to rationalize myself getting old. But the more I think about it, the more I really do believe that it's true. By now, especially by the age of 50, you definitely have someone in your life that died before they were 50. Whether it be a parent or a sibling, a best friend, somebody you went to, hey, stop scratching the cushions like that. Somebody you went to high school with that maybe died prematurely, somebody that got sick or had a tragic accident. And so by 50, you have learned the lesson that not everybody gets to 50. Hey, you have toys. You don't have to eat the couch. You have toys. And so I think racking up those older birthdays is a gift because not everybody gets them. And we all have friends that didn't get them, that didn't get the 50th, that didn't get the 60th, that didn't get the 70th. And even once you get into your 70s, my mom died last year at 72, which I think when we were kids, the idea of being 70, you thought, oh, okay, you're going to be in a retirement home. Meanwhile, there are 70-year-olds that are climbing Everest. Like, I think 70 is different now than it was 20, 30 years ago. And so the idea that if you don't, make it to 80 or 85 or 90, that's kind of a waste because those are really good years too. So happy 50th. And Bish, I hope 40 was great. And for everybody else that's kind of stressing about getting old a little bit, it happens to the good ones. It happens to everybody, right? Like everybody gets old. That's what happens. Hopefully, if you're lucky. So just embrace it and deal with it. Society doesn't make it easy, obviously. I mean, the cosmetics industry makes billions of dollars making women feel like once they're over 30, they might as well just die because they're old and ugly and whatever. But Bish says, Carrie, my family got me Creed and Daughtry tickets for tomorrow night in Providence for my birthday. Bish, that's awesome. Have an absolute blast. Mammoth is opening up that show, by the way. So you'll see Wolfgang do some serious shredding tomorrow night. Thomas says, I lost a friend that died by suicide using a gun. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Carol says, I'm 67 and walk 10 miles a day. At least I try. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I think, the Golden Girls were in their 50s on that TV show. Think about what the Golden Girls looked like with the moo-moos and the gray hair and the big giant glasses. Hey, stop. And now think about like people that, like the rock stars that are up there right now in their 50s. Like the guys from Slayer are in their 50s. The guys from Metallica are pushing 60. Friday, you're being very fresh and I don't like it. Stop scratching the couch. Now she's picking on Wednesday over there. So yeah, embrace it. I want to remind you guys, by the way, that we're limited on stream time based on Instagram's new rules. So we get 60 minutes to stream on Instagram before they cut the stream, and that disrupts the rest of the stream. So, you guys want to see a little National Dog Day pug fight? Because that's what's happening right now. Wednesday, come here. Come here. Come on. Do you want to have cookies? Friday, sit down. Everybody sits. Sit nicely. Hey, sit. Stop being fresh. Sit down. There you go. Show everybody your beautiful face. Oh, there she is. In case you want to follow them on Instagram. Marcy says, I turned 50 this past May. Carrie and family, remember, you're only as old as you feel, says Denise. My goal is to give the children... Charlene says, my goal is to give to the children in the next 2 months. See, there you go. You got to do the good stuff. That's exactly what you should be doing. Charity work will keep you young. Oh, wait, do we have a Michelle's anniversary? Happy anniversary. Bish says, Carrie, you'll never need plastic surgery. Perfect as is. Oh, thank you. Good lighting. Good lighting. And a niece that's a makeup artist who has been giving me some tips on how to handle not being 20. Bish says, got a haircut today, saw a few grays. It happens. It happens. And then you're like, do you try to dye them? Do you pluck them out? Do you just go with it? Guys get to, be salt and peppery. Girls, the rules aren't the same all the time. I've been dyeing my hair since I was 18, so there's never going to come a time where I don't foresee me anyway embracing having gray hair. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. But, why does Instagram care about how long you stream for? Jason wants to know. I don't know. I don't know if it's got something to do with their servers or whatever, but a couple of weeks ago, that's what cut the signal off for the show and disrupted the stream on the rest of the show, was that that the feed got like disrupted on Instagram because I reached the streaming limit. So let's see. Jason's, nope, that was Jason's comment. Jessica says, I love your purple hair. Thank you. Who here has eaten at Cracker Barrel, says Michelle. I think everybody at one point or another has eaten at Cracker Barrel. Even if there isn't one near you, it's like one of those truck stop places. Waffle House. I actually like Waffle House better than I like Cracker Barrel just because of the hash browns. They're delicious. And And Waffle House is open 24/7, which is fantastic. The people that work at Waffle House are kind of like the girls that work at Dunkin' Donuts in like the middle of a blizzard. Like they show up. They're like, yeah, we know there's a tornado down the street, but this is Waffle House and we're open. It's the same thing with Dunks. Like, yeah, we know there's a blizzard, but people need their coffee. So Friday, don't eat. She's pulling leaves off the plants here in the war room. Don't do that. You are fresh tonight. You are fresh. Why are you being so fresh? You want to tell everybody why you're being so fresh? Why are you being so fresh today? And where did Wednesday go? I give you toys every week so that you're nice to the couch. Do you want a Xanax? Maybe you need a Xanax. Yeah. Maybe you need a Xanax. Let's see. I pluck my gray hairs. And at 47, it's like, no way, Jessica, just be careful. My mom used to pluck her gray hairs, and then she started realizing, like, I'm plucking all my hair out. So, like, you got to be careful about that, too. Fights in the middle of the night at Waffle House. Oh, yeah. Well, that's like fights at Denny's. There's fights at 3 o'clock in the morning at a 24-hour Dunks. Like, that's just bound to happen. Who was it that said, was it Hillman's mom said nothing good happens after 11 p.m. or something? So there you go. Waffle House closes. You need to evacuate the area, Donna says. Yeah, like there's actually a website that like charts weather and whether or not the Waffle Houses are open or not, because that tells you the shit's really going to hit the fan. When Waffle House closes because of a storm, it's serious. They say that as a measurement. I know. That's how you know, like, you're iconic, is that when they start measuring the wherewithal of your employees and how crazy they are, whether or not they're willing to, like, go through a flood to make you those delicious hash browns. So I'll never be salt and pepper, but I've got the ginger and powdered donut starting, says Ryan. Oh, that's funny. Bish says the Sox are playing. They're up 3-0 in the ninth. So thank you for that update. All right, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to happen to talk about on the show tonight. And I have Coheed and Cambria tickets to see him this weekend at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway with Taking Back Sunday. So if you want to win some free tickets for this weekend, make sure you hang out for a little bit, because I got those tickets to give away before the end of the show. So Labor Day weekend's coming up this weekend, which I kind of can't believe. I feel like the summer kind of flew by, even though we had those crazy stretches of heat. And so it's always kind of a crazy anniversary weekend for me, because a lot of things happened in my life, like big things happened during Labor Day weekend. So I wanted to talk about some of them quickly. Hey, you two. So some of the things that happened just for me Labor Day weekend through the years, up here, Labor Day weekend 1999, I got my skydiving license. So I made my first tandem skydive in the fall of 98. I made my second tandem skydive in the spring of 99. And then Memorial Day weekend, I started the class. And just because things are so busy with concerts and everything, it took me all summer to get all of the jumps I needed to be able to graduate from the student program and to get my license. So these are the instructors that helped me get my license. And then I'm still friends with them to this day. And that was us like years later, kind of redoing that picture. So Labor Day weekend, 1999, I got my skydiving license. Labor Day weekend, 2006, I left for Iraq, which is kind of crazy. That's Combat Joe there. That was on the podcast. That is us in the general's private plane that we flew into Baghdad on from the Iraqi border in Kuwait, which is hilarious. I love that picture. And then Labor Day weekend 2011, me and producer Mike, that's us at Logan, getting ready to get on a plane to go to Kabul, Afghanistan. So it just happened to be Labor Day weekend that we left again, because both of those trips commemorated the 5th and 10th anniversary of 9/11. So we left Labor Day weekend both times. And then it's kind of insane for me to even wrap my brain around. But this coming Friday will mark 10 years since I got into my motorcycle accident. And I cannot believe it's been 10 years. Like, it doesn't make sense in my brain that accident was 10 years ago, because the memory of it and the post-traumatic stress of it is still so real, but it was a decade ago. I had my first facial reconstruction, I think in October of 2015, and then I had the second one in like February of 2016, February or March of 2016. So that's all Labor Day weekend. That's a lot of memories crammed into Labor Day weekend, which is kind of insane. So let's see. Betty says, had a hard time turning 30. I'm 68 and I still want that concert rail. Yeah, I think women have a harder time turning 30, because we're talking about birthdays. And I think men have a harder time turning 40. I think, and I've been told by guy friends of mine that when you hit 40, that's when you kind of notice that the young, pretty girls at the bar don't look at you anymore. Because you're like, when you're 30, the young, pretty girls at the bar will still look at you. But by the time you turn 40, the young, pretty girls at the bar are like, ew, you could be my older brother or my dad. And so I think there's a lot of guys that have a harder time with 40. I think women have a hard time at 30, especially like if they don't feel like they've met the societal norm milestones of like married with kids and the picket fence and like all of that stuff. I know when I turned 30, I was single and owned my own home and had no kids and was completely career driven. And for a lot of people, that just isn't the definition of a successful life. And so I think there's a lot of pressure for women when they turn 30. But let's see. Billy says, how come I'm not seeing the pics? So Billy, the aspect ratio on Instagram is a little different. Let me drag the pictures over for you. So here's the skydiving pictures. The top one is me as a student. The bottom one is me with my instructors as friends. And then this is Combat Joe and I on the plane on our way into Baghdad in 2006. And hold on, let me move that picture again. Yeah, I apologize if you're watching the show on Instagram. The aspect ratio of the screen is completely different than it is on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. So it's kind of hard to build things where it looks good on all platforms because you can't stream different screens at the same time. So there's producer Mike and I at Logan getting ready to leave Logan to fly to Kabul. And then the final picture on the page is me in the ambulance after crashing my motorcycle. I said to the guys in the ambulance, and I got to say what's up to my buddies at the Orange Fire Department, because I was on Route 2 when I crashed my motorcycle. I was like, I was conscious and I was okay. I was really banged up, but I just said, hey, can I take a selfie? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So that's the selfie that I took in the ambulance. So there you go. If you are new to the show, or maybe I popped up in your algorithm or your feed and you're like, hey, that's Mistress Carrie, formerly of WAF. I wonder what happened to her. Welcome to the War Room. This is episode 324. And yes, I'm still on the radio, and I'm going to tell you where you can listen, because there's a bunch of places. You can hear me on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina, every weekday from 10 to 3. And if you go to my98rock.com, you can stream the station off the website. You can also download the 98 Rock app, and then you can listen on your phone from wherever you go. You can hear me every weekday afternoon on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester, Mass. And if you go to pikefm.com, you can stream the station from anywhere, and you can also download the free Pike app. So that's 3 to 7 every weekday afternoon. You can hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. Completely different show than the Pike show. The Pike is a more classic rock station. The Bone is definitely a harder rock station that plays way more new music. So you can go to 1063thebone.com and stream the station off the website, and you can also download the free Bone app. And then most recently, as of this past Valentine's Day, you can hear Mornings with Mistress Carrie on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield, Massachusetts. You can go to laser993.com and stream the station that way, or you can download the Laser app and you can listen that way. And all of these stations, if you go just to mistresscarrie.com and it says shows, you click on that and it'll show you the podcast. It'll show you the radio shows. It'll show you Cocktails in the War Room. And all of the links are up there for that. Danielle says 60 is the new 40. I'll be 60 Labor Day. Love your show and purple. Thanks, Danielle. Will says, what's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. 5-0 Red Sox, says Dina. Thank you for keeping us up to date on the score. Betty says, a friend of mine, she's pushing 80 and she's still moving forward, but being active is a really good thing. Like, we know how to do it, right? It's like when you buy a new car, you know how to maintain it. They tell you get oil changes. They tell you to rotate the tires. They tell you to, take it in for regular tune-ups. They tell you to treat the undercarriage for rust. Like, you get instructions. And I think when it comes to aging, while it's not an exact science, there are a lot of things that we know that are proven to help. Drinking water, having a clean diet, exercising, managing your stress level, sleep, not smoking, not drinking too much, not doing drugs. Like, these are all things that we know help you maintain your health, not only on the outside and your outside appearance, but also obviously on the inside. Tom says, I remember when you crashed. Oh, so do I, Tom. 10 years ago. I remember exactly. Jerry says, yeah, I agreed when I hit my 40s. I agree when I hit my 40s. It's been tough, but I'm doing okay. Yeah, it's weird. Like, getting old is weird. But what's the alternative? Not getting old? We've had a lot of these conversations. I had a pretty serious one with Wolfgang Van Halen just about the idea of losing a parent. And it's like, well, what's the alternative? That your parents lose you? One of them is going to happen unless you all die at the same time, which would be horrifically tragic for everyone that loves you. Tom says Moscow Mule. Cheers. Mr. Cole says, taking over the airwaves one frequency at a time. Exactly. Bitch says, I feel like the baby here at 40. Nah, there's plenty of young people watching. Tom says, I just had hamstring cramps in both legs. At 40, just ignore the check engine light, Bish says. No, that's like, look, if you're fortunate enough to have access to good health care where you can actually seek preventative care instead of treating something that goes bad that was preventable if you had access to preventable care. It's the scary stuff, right? It's the first colonoscopy. It's the first mammogram. It's the first bend over and cough with your doctor. Like, you start questioning whether or not, like, I'm going in for a physical next week, and you know that you're going to have blood work, and you know that they're going to do all of the exams and checking stuff. And there's that kind of fear that, like, are they going to find something? But the odds are that if you keep up with the preventative tests, and if they find something, well, they didn't find it last time and now they found it now. And so hopefully that means they found it early, and that means you can fight it. So, do everything you can to take care of yourself, because I know for me, I've always said my whole life that I always wanted to live to be 100. My great-grandmother died at 99, and she lived alone and was self-sufficient until she was 97. And I think physically she would have been fine, but that's when her brain started to go at 97. But other than that, she lived alone. She lost my great-grandfather like 40 years prior. She never remarried, and she just lived for her family and was self-sufficient. And like, how great is that? Fooch says, Carrie, been watching since the WAF TV days. Much love on YouTube. Thank you. Let's see. When I lost my mom, she was only 46 years old, says Jessica. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's weird when you lose a parent that young. And when you're a kid and you lose a parent at 46, you think they're old. And then you hit 46 and you go, my mom lost her mom, my grandmother, at 52. And so I remember when my mom turned 52, that really affected her. And that's how old I am now. And so the idea, like I remember the day my grandmother died, I was 12. And so the idea, and I thought she was so old. And now I'm as old as she was when she died. And it's like, yeah, that's not old at all. At all. Let's see. Bish says, I've got 5 years before the colonoscopy. Shane says, my Grammy lived until 104. Granted, she had a home nurse and someone was always around there. Yeah, but 104? Like, imagine everything your grandmother saw in those 100 years. So I've always said I want to live to be 100. Am I going to be able to pull it off? I don't know. We'll see. So, all right. I want to remind you guys, if you are watching in Western Mass, about this deal. If you love wine, you can go to laser993.com, the Western Mass Wine Passport. You can get $150 worth of gift certificates to some of the best Western Mass local wineries for just $75. And you can get the details and get your wine passport at laser993.com. Couple events I want to remind you guys about where you'll be able to come and hang out with me. I will have a booth set up at the 4th annual Silver Scream Con, which is September 12th through the 14th at the DCU Center in the Convention Hall. I was there last year. I'll be there again this year. There's going to be some new merch available. If you love horror movies, gore, metal, this is a convention you want to go to. If you go to Silver Scream Con's official website, you can see all of the horror stars that are going to be there. The guys from Ice Nine Kills are going to be there, and on Saturday night, they're going to be headlining the DCU Center, which we'll talk about in a bit. So this is the weekend of September 12th, Friday, Saturday all day, and then Sunday. And then the one-day Johnny Appleseed Festival happening in downtown Leominster on September 20th. There's over 250 vendors. There's tons of food. There's music. It's for the whole family. They shut down all of downtown Leominster, and I'm going to have a big booth set up for that as well. And both of those events are up on the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Recapping last week's podcast episode, Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace, the band celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, out on the road with Collective Soul and live. He was my guest on episode 272, and we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about the band's anniversary. We talked about Ozzy. We talked about getting old and when you should retire from music. His answer, never. Like, why would you if you still love doing what you do? We talked about Woodstock 99 because these guys played Woodstock 99. So if you're an Our Lady Peace fan, if you're a 90s music lover, last week's episode 272, Rain Maida from Our Lady Peace. Episode 273 comes out at midnight tonight. Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poets Society back on the show. I think he was first on an exit on episode 50. Now he's back on episode 273. These guys are the band that met at Berkeley. So they're a California band. That's where they're based out of LA. But they met at Berkeley in Boston. And so they do have some hometown ties. And they're out on the road with Chevelle and Asking Alexandria. And we're at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway this past Sunday night. So let's see. Mr. Cole says, Carrie, are you going to the Ice Nine Kills concert? I don't know because I'm going to be in the convention center. So it's all going to depend on who's going to be watching all of the booths and stuff. But most likely, yes. Let's see. Tell Spencer to bring the beef sandwiches, says Shane. So I have been in contact with his people, like the label and management, because I want to get him back on the show before Silver Scream Con. And we always talk about North Shore roast beef sandwiches for sure. So Karina says, what time on September 20th? Was wondering if we can squeeze it with Metal Fest at the Palladium. I think the Johnny Appleseed Festival goes from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Or it's 9 to 5, but it starts at 9 in the morning. So you've got time before Metal Fest if you want to go to the Johnny Appleseed Festival. Red Sox won it according to Dina 5-0, so that's good. Let's see. Sorry, I'm late. Work is crazy, says Eric. I'm working the concert if you need anything, says Mr. Cole. That's awesome. Hold on. Somebody asking Adam. Oh, Adam Webster is leaving the Pike Morning Show and going to afternoons on the country station Nash Icon. It's totally possible. It's totally possible. It's all the same company. And if you're a co-host on a show and then you get offered your own show, it's kind of like you kind of have to take the gig. So there you go. So that's episode 273. That comes out at midnight tonight. Jack Underkoffler from Dead Poet Society. If you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get the full-length episodes every Wednesday. When we drop a bonus episode, you automatically get that. And then every Monday through Friday, you can get caught up with all of your music news, entertainment updates, all the rock info that you could possibly need, boiled down into 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. The sit rep is every Monday through Friday. And if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you get all of those as well. And if you're wondering, well, where can I get the Mistress Carrie podcast? The short answer is everywhere. All of the podcast apps you can think of, just search the Mistress Carrie podcast. Just find that artwork. You know you're in the right spot. You can listen to the audio of all the episodes, the sit reps, the interviews, the bonus episodes on YouTube. You can go to mistresscarrie.com and just click play on whatever episode you want to listen to. And it's all part of the Pantheon Podcast Network. So it's kind of everywhere. And speaking of everywhere, we are still holding strong at 149 countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. So I don't know why my little head keeps wanting to go to Italy. I mean, I know why, but my little head should be over Massachusetts here on this map. And now it doesn't want to behave. There we go. I'll just move the map instead of the head. There you go. And the top 20 countries that are still listening to the podcast, that list is right there. It's pretty much holding true. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you're sharing it with Shirley Manson from Garbage, who, by the way, just announced that this Garbage tour, this North American tour, is going to be their last one. So they're going to be at Roadrunner. I'll go over those details coming up. But if you've never seen Garbage, you're running out of time in North America. And also Adrian Young from No Doubt celebrating his birthday today as well. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you. And obviously, Bish, your 40th, and everybody else that's got birthdays this week. Are you actually in Western Mass for the Laser Morning Show? Well, I'm on the air, aren't I? Actually, I think everybody pretty much knows by now that because of the schedule I keep with all the stations that I'm on, that I work out of MCHQ when I do all of my radio shows. So, but I do go to Springfield, like to do station stuff. It's just, doing the show every morning, and then racing back to be on 98 Rock in Charleston. And then in the afternoons in Portland and Worcester, I just do everything out of MCHQ. So, Voorhees says, who wouldn't want to go back to Italy? You know what's really funny is that Jelly Roll has been touring Europe for the first time with Post Malone. And I was watching his Instagram stories, and he literally was just at the Coliseum in Rome where I was, and he was riding around on those Lime scooters that I was telling you guys about when I got back from Italy. I was like, I just missed Jelly Roll by a couple of weeks. That would have been awesome if he was there when we were there. Jerry says, would love for you to be in Iowa. That would be great. I would love that if there's a station in Iowa that wants me to be on the air. Are you really in Iowa now, Jerry? Is that where you are? Why Iowa? Speaking of that, isn't Nickelback like headlining the Field of Dreams venue this weekend? Aren't they doing the big concert there, like on the field where they filmed the movie? Carrie, have you heard of the band Cobra and the Lotus? Eric, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. but feel free to send that stuff my way. All right, let's give away some tickets. If you're not in Iowa and you want to go see Coheed in Cambria and Taking Back Sunday, coming up this weekend at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on the 30th, all you got to do is go to mistresscarrie.com. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a button that says Message the Studio. You are going to send me a message with Coheed in the subject line. Send me your first and last name, your email address, and your phone number. First come, first serve. If you want to go see Coheed in Cambria this weekend, I have got your tickets. So hit me up at mistresscarrie.com, click the Message the Studio button, put Coheed in the subject line, and I will fill as many ticket requests as I can. But I want to make sure that here in the War Room, the Backstage Pass holders get tickets first, and then the War Room family gets tickets after that. So if you want a Backstage Pass, I'll tell you how to get one of those coming up. Jerry says, I was on vacation there and I grew up there. I didn't know you grew up in Iowa. How did I not know that? Have you ever heard of the band Default? Yeah, of course I've heard of those guys. Yeah, we used to play them on AAF all the time. Facebook is acting weird and won't let me comment or react to anyone's comments. Keith, I can see your comments. That's weird that it won't let you comment on other people's comments, though. That's very strange. There are a few things in music news that we need to talk about. Mudvayne put up some teaser videos because they are getting ready to announce new music. Chad Gray said back in May that they were working on new music. They've been hinting about it since they got back together. So there is definitely new Mudvayne coming. Those teaser videos got released today. Another interesting release, this is a professional picture, okay? This is not a picture backstage at a show. This is a professionally shot picture of Amy Lee from Evanescence, Poppy, and Courtney LaPlante from Spirit Box, and they just posted it up with no explanation. There's got to be some kind of girl power collab that's happening here. They posted that picture today. I'm dying to know what it is because this is a lot of singing and screaming right here with this crew, and that's pretty awesome. Tico Torres, the longtime drummer from Bon Jovi, took to social media to let everybody know yesterday in a video that he has not retired from music, that he has not left Bon Jovi, and that he actually let it slip that the band is working on new music right now. So he's like, I don't know where that rumor started, but don't believe what you read on the internet because most of it's bullshit. That's his quote. So Bon Jovi is working on new stuff. And then obviously, since we were here in the War Room last, Brent Hines formerly of Mastodon, he just left the band a couple months ago. He got killed on his motorcycle in Atlanta. A BMW SUV, I believe, failed to yield, and he was killed on his motorcycle. And the rock and metal world has reacted significantly. When the guys from Shinedown played their shows, especially the one in Atlanta, like a couple days later, they dedicated Simple Man to Brent Hines and put his pictures up on the screens. Gavin Rossdale from Bush posted a pretty candid post saying that it was Brent Hines that kind of talked Gavin out of getting himself into trouble with Xanax, just really talking to him about the negative effects of it and the dangers of it. So it's a pretty sad loss. He was only 51 years old. So to go back to the conversation we were having earlier, there's a perfect example. This guy was an amazing musician. He toured the world. He was incredibly talented and died at 51 years old. So Donna says he can't reply to anyone's comments or react to other people's comments. That is very strange. Voorhees says everything I say is bullshit. Rachel says I'm not seeing comments without popping out and coming back in either. It's really hard managing all of these different social profiles when it comes to live streaming because they are all constantly changing what their rules are, constantly changing. If I just streamed on Facebook like we used to, it would function differently. But because I'm using a third-party streaming platform so that I can stream on multiple platforms, including some that are not part of Meta, the rules change all the time. It's really weird. Keith says, Voorhees, I can comment on the stream. Yeah, it's strange that you can't comment directly on other people's comments. Jerry Dyer says, I moved here in 2002, but Iowa was my home for so many years. When I go out, like even when I went to Colorado last weekend to move my bonus daughter into her dorm, I'm very cognizant of the fact that I'm away from the ocean. Even though I don't live on the water, I'm an hour away from the water. There's a comfort for me for some reason, this subliminal thing that I am close to the shore. And I don't know why that is. But when I was in Colorado, even though it's gorgeous and I loved it, driving cross country, I'm just very aware that I'm so far away from the ocean. I don't know if I could live that far away from the ocean, even though I don't go to the ocean all that often. It's just a thing. I don't know. Let's see. Shane says, unfortunate because I know his split with Mastodon was really bitter. Yeah, it was really bitter. And none of us really know what happened. And obviously now the rest of the guys in the band, depending on whose fault it was, or if it was anyone's fault, or if it was like a mutual, fuck you guys, no, fuck you guys, like there's no chance of a reconciliation anymore. And so moving forward, Mastodon isn't minus Brent Hines because he just quit the band. They're minus Brent Hines because he's gone, which is really sad. So what's up, Charlene on YouTube? Tim says, when was the last time you shut your phone off for 5 minutes? I try it and it doesn't work right. It's a computer. Yeah, Tim, I turn computers on and off all the time, every day. I reboot my computers. I reboot my phone all the time as well because it does get weird if you don't restart them. And also if it's due for an update, that's the other thing is that especially the apps on your phone, because you might not have, unless you have automatic updates, you might not know that a new Facebook update or a new Instagram update has been released. And then all of a sudden the app starts acting weird, and it's because they want you to download the new update. And so there you go. And then there's the theory that they screw up your phone on purpose after a while because they want you to buy a new one and you start noticing that it just doesn't work right anymore. So Eric says, I am going to see Youngblood next month and I am so excited. So Youngblood kicked off his North American tour in Los Angeles. Jack Osbourne was there. And it sounds like Youngblood is working Black Sabbath's Changes that he performed at the Back to the Beginning concert into his set every night. I thought he was one of the standout performances of the final Black Sabbath and Ozzy show. I thought his version of Changes was fantastic. He obviously has a really close relationship with the Osbournes, and I've never seen him live. I was surprised when Eddie Trunk was on the show, like a month ago now, when we were talking about the last Ozzy and Sabbath show before Ozzy died, that he had never heard of Youngblood, because I've talked about him in the Sit Rep and on the podcast a lot. I've just never seen him. So he is going to be in town next month. And that show is also up on the concert calendar as well. How's Bon Jovi's voice doing? As far as I know, it's working. Let's see. I like you on X or Twitter, face red heart shape. Charlene, I don't know what that means. Yeah, there's a lot of shows we got to talk about, so let's run through some of them. The TD Garden this weekend is going to host 9 Inch Nails. Also coming up, Eric Clapton in September, and Bryan Adams, who is releasing his new album this Friday, is going to be at the Garden at the end of October. We were talking earlier about the Silver Scream Con at the DCU Center. That includes the concert on the Saturday night with Ice Nine Kills and Dayseeker and the Funeral Portrait. Sleep Token is also going to be at the DCU Center on September 23rd. That's the Ice Nine Kills show, by the way, that I was talking about. Big Night Live in Boston is going to have From Ashes to New. That's coming up in November. And also October 21st, Everclear, Local H, and Sponge on the 30th anniversary tour celebrating Sparkle and Fade for Everclear. The Xfinity Center on September 11th is going to feature Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace. Falling in Reverse is going to be there on the 13th. And Papa Roach with Rise Against on the 14th. This is going to be an exhaustive week. This is a long week at the Xfinity Center right there. And backstage pass holders, you know I've got some tickets for you for some of that stuff too. Some other shows, Sully Erna is going to be solo at the Mohegan Sun patio on September 6th. The next day, he has got a golf scramble at Mohegan Sun as well. Check his Instagram for details on the scramble. George Thorogood's going to be at the Excuse me, I get the hiccups. George Thorogood's going to be at the Lynn Auditorium September 19th. Bryan Adams, we were just talking about him at the Garden. He'll be at Mohegan Sun October 25th. Seven Dust and their Southside Double Wide Acoustic Tour. They're going to be at the Somerville Theater November 22nd. Those tickets are already on sale. Get the hiccups, hold on. The Lemonheads, who are back together, releasing new music and out on the road, are at the Wilbur November 26th. Also, Spirit Box at the Toyota Oakdale Theater in Connecticut, December 7th. Bush Soul Asylum are at the Mohegan Sun on December 4th. These tickets are all on sale, by the way. And Heart, December 10th at the SNHU Arena in Manchester. And on the 12th of December at the Toyota Oakdale Theater. Those tickets are on sale as well. Bryan Adams is considered rock. Yeah, I think in the 80s he was considered a rock guy. So I still kind of leave him in that kind of 80s. He didn't have the big hair, but I look at him as like one of those big 80s like rock icons. Yeah. I mean, he wrote a lot of ballads, but I think early 80s, Bryan Adams 100% was a rock star. 100%. Jay, the hockey guy on Instagram, says, can I get your autograph? You're my favorite DJ. Thanks, Jay. There's all kinds of Mistress Carrie stuff, by the way, in the online Mistress Carrie store at mistresscarrie.com, which I got some new stuff we're going to talk about in a minute. Jonathan says, have to head off. Have a great night and a great war room. Have a nice long holiday weekend, Jonathan. Happy Labor Day. Let's see. Jessica says, I want to see Papa Roach. Oh, and if you haven't heard, Taylor Swift is engaged, says Eric, excuse me. Yeah, so how did everybody not know? She got 3 million likes on her Instagram post in the first 30 minutes. 3 million likes in 30 minutes announcing that your English teacher and your gym teacher are engaged, putting up a bunch of pictures. Rumor has it that they got engaged a couple weeks ago at Travis Kelce's home. It looks like he set up this big, elaborate flower garden in the backyard and proposed with a massive rock. So yeah, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. Mr. Cole says the golf scramble sounds crazy that Sully's putting together. Yeah, like he's a golf guy. If you're a golf guy, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Ryan says, does Bryan Adams still cut like a knife? What's the matter, Wednesday? Come over here. Come here. Come on. Come here. Come on. It's okay. Come on. I'm going to turn the pug cam on for a second because the dogs are looking at me like I owe them money and I don't know why. Right? Are you guys okay? On National Dog Day? Look at those faces. Look at these pretty faces. Wednesday, you want to come over here? Come here. Do you want to have a cookie for being such good girls? There you go. There you go. Oh, we need a pug break for a minute, talking about all these concerts, and we have to look at pretty pug faces. All right, where did we leave off? Oh yeah. Okay. So we were talking about Sully's Golf Scramble. That's at Mohegan Sun, September 7th. Leader Bank Pavilion. All the rock shows for the season are done. Fenway. This is happening right now. The Joe Perry Project had to postpone their shows at Foxwoods and in Port Chester, New York over the weekend because the whole band got sick. They are back in the saddle, according to Joe Perry's social media pages, and those other shows have been rescheduled, but The Who is at Fenway right now. My Chemical Romance, I'm giving away tickets to this show all week on 100 FM The Pike with Idols. My Chem is at Fenway on September 7th. So if you want to win those tickets, the show's completely sold out. Make sure you're listening to my show every weekday on The Pike this week. Mushroom Head's going to be at the Palladium in October. Guar's going to be there in November. Atreyu's going to be there in November. Poppy kicking off her tour in North America in September. Also, the New England Hardcore and Metal Festival which is the same day as the Johnny Appleseed Festival in Leominster. Roadrunner, I was telling you earlier that Garbage says this is going to be their last North American tour. The show is in September and it's already on sale. So if you've never seen Garbage, you're running out of time. We were talking about Youngblood. He's going to be there the next night. And of Monsters and Men will be at Roadrunner in Brighton on October 29th. Good girls. Your girls are being so good. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway, Alabama Shakes is going to be there September 14th. Caesar and Daughtry with POD on October 7th. Mudvayne and Static X on October 25th. And Cage the Elephant on October 30th. House of Blues in Boston has got Bruce Dickinson on September 11th. Avatar, November 26th. And Nothing More. Already scheduling shows for next year because why not? They announced that show in February, like literally 3 months ago. It's kind of insane. Paradise Rock Club, I will get some updated show info for you. I try not to post every show, just like the ones that are like bands that I'm playing on my radio shows and stuff, people that I've had on the podcast. Cold is going to be at City Winery Boston on October 27th. And the Stage at Suffolk Downs has got some pretty significant shows coming in September, including the weekend-long Irish Music and Culture Festival with the Dropkick Murphys and the Pogues headlining session, and also Turnstile on September 20th and Iggy Pop on September 25th. Wednesday and Friday says, give us treats and belly rubs. Trust me, I know. Jay says, oh, the beautiful dogs. Yeah, they're behaving right now. They're both, look, hold on. I'll show you. They're both just laying there snuggling right now. Look at them. Just like two little fuzzy hot dogs laying together, hoping that I'm going to give them another treat at some point. So we were just talking about Suffolk Downs. New releases coming out on Friday. We were talking about Bryan Adams, Roll with the Punches. His new album is out on Friday. Deep Purple, Rapture of the Deep, the 20th anniversary remix album is out Friday. The Hives Forever, Forever the Hives. That's their new studio album. That's out on Friday. Idols, who we were just talking about opening up for My Chem at Fenway. Caught Stealing, the official soundtrack, and also Wolf Alice, The Clearing. Those are all coming out on Friday. Mail call this week. No mail call. So there you go. Sorry, girls. No mail call this week. Sorry, girls. You're being so very nice, though, now that you're not trying to eat my couch. Okay, let's talk about the Mistress Carrie online store. So we're going to have new stickers. They are in production right now. I'm hoping to have them after the holiday weekend. I have not gotten a shipping notification yet. So, and they're heavy, so they get shipped ground most times. So I'm hoping to have them before Silver Scream Con and before the Johnny Appleseed Festival. So I'm hoping to have them before then. And also, and those are the helmet I rode with Mistress Carrie stickers and also the property of Mistress Carrie stickers. And there are also new beanies coming. So when the black Mistress Carrie, like cold weather beanies came out, there were some people that were like, I don't want the ones that flip up, because I want to be able to wear it under my helmet. Bish also asked if we could come up with a cold weather beanie that had some reflective element to it for runners that run early in the morning or after work. And so this new reflective beanie has no flap, the Mistress Carrie logo, and then a gray stripe that is made out of reflective thread so that you can wear it while you're running. And, it's reflective. There's also some other cool stuff that I'm still in the design phase of. The Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass holders know what I'm talking about. They've been helping out with feedback on some design stuff. When I get the design fixed and when I know that they are ordered, then I will let you know. And speaking of the Backstage Pass, you get a monthly exclusive live stream if you go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. You also find out who's going to be on the podcast before anybody else, so you can submit questions. You get travel blog updates when I travel, early access to event tickets. You get Concert ticket giveaways. We had Chevelle tickets for you guys. Right now, I've got tickets to see Papa Roach and Rise Against for Backstage Pass holders September 14th at the Xfinity Center. And also, when new merchandise gets released, you get extra special deals and you find out first so that you can get it before everybody else. So there's a lot of perks to having a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass. So go to mistresscarrie.com, click the Patreon logo, or just go to patreon.com and / Mistress Carrie. Recharging those batteries. Let's see. Jay says, that is awesome. Bryan Adams was my first concert that my parents brought me to. He rocked, says Aaron. Yeah, see, he was a rock guy back in the day. I talked to my dermatologist at the Garbage concert, did not realize it was her until my appointment. Oh my God, Ryan, that's really funny. Were you trying to pick up your dermatologist and you didn't even realize it was her? The poor woman that looks like your moles and skin tabs. Marcy says, did I miss August? No, we postponed July, so there'll be, well, we did. No, you didn't. But because of the holiday weekend, we have to schedule it. So no, Marcy, you didn't miss it. Papa Roach, got to check the calendar, says Betty. Yeah, that's going to be a really good show. So, and a reminder, we are now over 4,100 members of the public group, Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock. There's so much going on in the veterans community that I cannot possibly have all of that going on my Facebook page all the time. It'll get lost. It'll just be way too much. So I started this group for people that are specifically interested in getting involved with veterans nonprofits, that want to support veteran businesses, that may be veterans themselves that are looking for resources and support. If you're looking for volunteer opportunities, whatever it is that is veteran related, whether you're a civilian, whether you're a veteran, or you're someone that has a veteran in your family, the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group on Facebook is open to the public. There's always tons of events and stuff getting posted up there. I posted a video the other day of a really interesting way that a teacher taught a lesson about the Vietnam War that I thought was really powerful. So I put that video up there. So if you're on Facebook, join the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group. It's on Facebook. It's free to everybody, but I will warn you, this is just for veteran related stuff. This is not for music discussions. This is not for, or, for events for other kinds of charities. That stuff will not make it through the filters now. It is only stuff that is veteran related. And if you're a business looking to hire veterans, that will make it through the filter. If you've got job openings and you're looking for veterans, definitely post them up there, because like I said, there's 4,100 members and counting. So there you go. The Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group. And all the places that you can find me on social, all the links to the socials, all of the radio stations and radio station apps where you can listen to me on the radio every day. That's all up at mistresscarrie.com to make it easier for you. So there you go. Keith says cocktail. Oh, we got like 1 minute before I'm going to get kicked off of Instagram. So hold on, let me stick my finger in the cocktail book. And because you're right, we didn't do the cocktail tonight. Hold on. Where is the cocktail? There we go. Hold on. All right. Because of Labor Day weekend, let's talk about apples for a second. This is called a golden apple. By the way, we go through a cocktail recipe out of all of my cocktail books on the show every week. A golden apple sounds delicious, actually. It's an ounce of Mount Gay rum. It's half an ounce of apple schnapps and an ounce of apple puree juice. An ounce of apple puree and the juice of 1 lime and a half an ounce of that Gome syrup or just simple syrup. Shake the ingredients, strain into a martini glass and serve. So it's rum, apple schnapps, apple puree, lime juice, and some simple syrup. And you shake it with ice and put it in a martini glass. And that is called a golden apple as we transition from summer into fall unofficially this weekend for Labor Day weekend. So there you go. All right, guys, one more peek at the pugs. Keep the dog pictures coming on my Facebook page for National Dog Day. You girls are being so good. Say goodnight to everyone. Say thank you for hanging out with us in the war room. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, right? Yeah, you guys are so good. All right, guys. One more time, happy 40th, Bish. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating their birthdays. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to be done the show? Yeah, I figured. All right, good night, guys.